Hello crafty friends, in today's video I'm going to open this lovely subscription box from Your Creative Studios. We're going to open it together and see all the goodies inside, and then I want to pick a few items and we're going to create a project at the second part of this video. So let's see what's inside. So it's Your Creative Studio. I will put the link to their website in the description below. Now usually with their thank you card, it's normally a hint as to what the theme will be of the box. So I'm guessing that it's going to be butterflies. And who doesn't love butterflies? I do use them a lot in my projects, so these are always welcome. Let's see. This would be a cling stamp of a beautiful butterfly, and it's nice and large in size. And some beautiful butterfly stickers, I think they are. They're on a transparent background, so they don't have any white borders, which is really nice. And some beautiful pastel colors, really pretty. And then another cling stamp. I must say, in these subscription boxes you always get quite a few cling stamps, which is really nice. There's lots of ways to use them. There's another size butterfly and a small little one. And then these are, oh, it's like a little butterfly card, and it's got fly to you with space for writing. What I would probably do with this, I'd probably cut it in half and have it like two separate tags and pop it maybe into a pocket of a junk journal. Just an idea. This is a sticky note pad of a little butterfly. It's really beautiful. You could use these as a focal point on a project. You could actually also add additional color if you want to make it brighter or a different color to match your project. Vintage labels. I always love anything that's got the title vintage. Oh, these are beautiful. These come so handy. All different shapes, sizes, colors. These are great for all sorts of projects. I love using these if you make specimen cards. You can add like a little label with like a title on of what the specimen is. There's plenty inside here, lots of different colors. This one even has like a vintage writing on it. Very faint, but I do like that. These, I think, are small stickers. Oh, you can never have too many butterfly stickers, I think. Wow, look at that. All colors. There's, I think, 2 of each design, so you have plenty to go around. Oh, there's a little booklet of, or a collection of vintage papers. The quality is quite thick. It's not too thin, so you could use that. I think these are great to pop into pockets. I'd normally just fold it in half and pop it into a pocket in a journal, or use it as a background in something. There's quite a few different designs and colors. There's even different languages. Like mathematics and geometry and graphs, like that. Let's just Back on there. Some more stickers. These are transparent ones too. Oh, and here is a whole heap of butterflies. These are cards. They're quite thick, like a cardstock, quite a thick cardstock. So like a tag. And these would be great just as pocket fillers again. Just pop them in. You could also use them as a focal point for something. This is like a label you could put actually on a cover of a journal. And they're really large in size, which I really like. Really beautiful. These will be very handy. How cute will that look just in a pocket? And if you put a vellum pocket, you'll be able to see the design of the butterfly through. Oh, I love these. Oh, I love them all. And then some, these are stamps. There's always such a great variety in these subscription boxes, I must say. They're really packed full. So lots of little stickers. These are like 4 stamps. But they're stickers and all just butterfly themed, beautiful colors. Lots of designs. That's quite cute. It's all just wings. Oh, I love the blue. And some dragonflies. Oh, I think I need to use more dragonflies. And what I like is the card that comes, the backing card is like an old postcard, which can also then be used for something. It's got like handwriting on. You can just cover the back with something to do journaling on, and you have a postcard. These are also like a cardstock. They're actually very, very thick, which is really nice. I would stick something like this just directly on a junk journal page as a page on its own. It's really beautiful. It's got a bit of like vintage writing underneath. Like I say, even the backing stock that they use, the backing cardboard, can be used for a project. And then there's some beautiful handmade papers with some petals and leaves inside. And I think I want to make some sort of pocket from this. It's beautiful handmade paper. You can see all the little fibers inside of plants, petals. Really pretty. There's 6 sheets of that, I think. 5 sheets of that. It'll make a very pretty pocket, and then you could pop something inside. Alright, I was going to take 5 minutes to look through and get some ideas of a project to create with all of this lovely butterfly gorgeousness, and I'll be right back. I've decided to decorate this coffee stained envelope. I've gathered some papers that I'm going to use for the background. Some of the papers are from the subscription box we just opened, and then just some other odds and ends that I have in my scrap box, including these pages that are actually from a paper pad from Kaisercraft. This envelope was inspired by memory journals by Yvonne. I saw some of her lovely envelopes she had decorated on her Instagram. I will link her details below so you can have a look at her lovely envelopes too. The idea is to cover all the sides and the fold down part of the envelope with some background paper. We don't want any of the coffee stain paper to show. If it does, that's fine too, but the majority we want it to be covered, and then we're going to decorate it. So I'm just cutting the cardstock now. It obviously doesn't fit all the way across because the envelope is larger than the paper, but we are going to do little patchwork pieces. I don't want everything just to be one design or one color, so we are going to patchwork a little bit to give it some variety. And I'm just using a glue stick. To adhere this, you could also use double-sided tape. For the open side of the envelope, I'm not going to cut the shape of the envelope. I'm going to stick the paper all the way across to sort of create like a folder. That is why I apply the glue to the envelope, and then I'm going to stick this down. I would really love if you subscribed to my channel. I have lots of videos coming your way: junk journal flip throughs, how to decorate your junk journal pages, my full deck challenge, and even art journaling. And also hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. I'm now going to add some of the papers from the subscription box. Now you don't need fancy papers for this project. You could just actually even use bits from a magazine if that's all you have, or just any kind of offcuts that you have. You don't have to make it vintage like this. You could make it bright. You could also even make your own papers to cover. Just take A4 sheets and just paint on them with some acrylic paints, and then cut them up and make a little patchwork on your envelope. Oh, and that pink on my glue stick, it's not anything that makes the glue stick special. I think it might just be some color burst powder that got on there from a previous project. You can make your patchwork pieces as big or as small as you want. I'm making mine quite big, so there's big chunks of color or design, but you could make it also really, really small if you want more variety and more design. I'm really loving the roses in this piece of cardstock, so I'm just going to tear that out and stick it down as part of the design. And then the little smaller ones will just go in the back. This is tissue paper from an old dress pattern. I'm just going to cut 2 long strips, and I'm going to put this under the sewing machine using zigzag, and I'm going to push it underneath the foot as I sew, and it's going to make this cute little tissue paper ruffle. I'm using a black contrasting thread. For the top flap, I'm going to use this vintage music paper. I start by trying to trace around the shape, and then I just realized that's actually not a great idea. An easier way is just to glue it down and then cut it out. Because I film everything I make, and I don't always try something first before I make a video for it, you'll see a lot of times that I will do something over again, or I will let you know the mistake I've made and sort of how I fixed it. Same with this, where I went first to trace it, and then I thought, no, an easier way is just to stick it down. So I sort of do show you my mistakes and my thought process as I go. Another example is now this not very nice edge where the flap folds down. The papers are separating and it doesn't look great. So to fix that, I'm going to put a small strip of this script paper, which will sort of seal that section, and the fold will be smooth. Learn as you go, and don't be scared to try new things. I'm now going to attach one of my tissue paper ruffles just to the top left of the front of the envelope. I'm going to add a piece of vellum as a pocket. I'm just going to tear a piece. I don't want a neat end. I want it rough like that. And I always cut the vellum bigger than what I need, and I'll trim it off after I've sewn it. First, before I put it under the sewing machine, I'm just going to distress the edge with a bit of vintage photo distress ink, just to give it a bit more of a vintage look and more definition. And just to explain why I cut my vellum bigger than what I need, it's very difficult to try and keep it aligned while you're running it under the sewing machine. So if it's slightly bigger, if it slips a bit, it will still work and you can just trim it later. If you've cut it exactly, you're not going to get it to align very neatly. And there I have sewn all the way around, and I've done a bit of my bunching thread as well. I've sewn all the way around the entire envelope. I do really love my sewing, and I do tend to use it in a lot of my projects. I've used black thread here too for contrast, and I have left all the loose strings just hanging because I really like that look. You can trim them off if you want a neater finish. Now I'm going to add a few elements to decorate and embellish the front and the back of the envelope. I don't have an idea yet of what I'm doing, so you'll see me move the elements around to the left, to the right, and just trying different things until I get something that I think is balanced and is pleasing to the eye. There was lots of variety in the subscription box, so I can use all different elements to decorate and make my little embellishment clusters. I started by decorating the bottom right hand corner because I felt it would be balanced, but then I realized we need a way to close the envelope, and I thought the easiest way was to make the closure using the little label. So I'm just going to move everything to the middle of the card and push it up so that the fold of the envelope or the flap of the envelope can tuck in behind the label. Now, although the label is actually a sticker, I'm going to use double-sided tape, only because it needs to stick over the cheesecloth, and also I don't want it sticky all the way around because I want to be able to tuck the flap in there. So I just need the bottom and the sides to be sticky. Now where the cheesecloth was, it didn't stick well, so I'm going to use just a little bit of hot glue just to secure that. And then I'm going to put my little flower sticker there, just trim it off and then add my butterfly one, and I'm quite happy with that. We don't want to overdo it. I think it's a subtle decoration, but I think it's very pretty. And then I'm going to move onto the front to where my pocket is, and I'm going to start filling it, which I find a lot of fun. So I'm definitely using these cardboard butterflies, which are already like tags. They are perfect. So I'm going to put a couple in and just move them around, and then just add a few other elements too. The butterflies are quite busy and I don't want them to get lost in anything behind them. So I'm going to put more plainer items behind the butterflies. I have this piece of coffee stained graph paper. I'm just tearing that, folding a piece in half. I'm leaving the rough end on. And then also I have a couple of ready-made tags, just in neutral colors, and a ready-made vintage envelope. And I'm popping those in, and that allows the butterflies to sort of pop out and be sort of like a focal point. At this point, you could leave the envelope as is, but I want to add a little bit of an embellishment cluster in the bottom left-hand corner of my vellum pocket. I'm just using a few stickers, some cheesecloth, and then a piece of Hessian string that I've just looped around my fingers, and I'm going to leave that looping sort of just sticking off the envelope just a little bit. And I also have some of the transparent flower stickers. And I'm just going to move the elements around again until I get something that I think is balanced. Although I thought I had measured well with eyeballing it to place the stamp, it's actually a little bit too far to the right and the cluster's a little bit too spread out. I tried to sort of put some black thread scrumpled up underneath to see if that would help. I didn't like that. So it's easy enough to just pull the stamp off the vellum and just replace it or reposition it. For some reason, I also really love putting numbers in my projects. This is just a number from a raffle ticket that I have. I've just cut that off and placed that there. And then I'm going to put my little transparent flowers. I'm just trying a few different butterflies too, until I find one that I think suits and balances the cluster. Decided to go with the sticker. I like the orange of the monarch butterfly. I'm just going to trim off the white because I want it to be just the butterfly, and then I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, only because the underneath has got lots of different layers it needs to adhere to. One more little flower because they are so cute. Then to add a small pop of color, I'm going to use that blue little card that was in the box. I'm just going to cut it in half and use the one half as a tag just behind, so that the blue just pops out a little bit and balances out with the orange on the left. I really hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a decorated or altered envelope. I hope you were inspired to create your own. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.